Alright, so in the previous video we went over power rule, sum rule, and difference rule. So today we're going to be going over the product rule, taking one more step towards deriving any derivative you want. So the product rule states that for any function, so we'll say fx is equal to gx times hx, then f prime of x is equal to g prime of x times h of x plus h prime of x times g of x. Alright, so it's a little different than the sum and difference rule where you just keep each term separate and differentiate. Here it actually changes the entire equation. So to start off with an example, we have y equal to x squared times x cubed. Alright, so now we want to find y prime. That was a terrible y. Now we want to find y prime. So, according to our rules up here, the prime is equal to g prime. So we'll say x squared is our g and x cubed is our h. So we have g prime times h of x. Okay, so we have our g prime, so the prime of x squared, so would be 2x times just h normal, so times x cubed plus h prime, so now we take the prime of x cubed, which is 3x squared times just g of x, so x squared. So now we have y prime, so now we can multiply these in. So now we have 2x to the 4 plus 3x to the 4, which is just equal to 5x to the 4. So that is like the simplest example of product rule. Gets the point across. So if that's all you came for, you can leave now. But I'm going to be doing some, the questions will ramp up in difficulty if you're here to practice, or if you just want to learn more, I guess. It should also be stated that if you have a function f of x equal to 3 terms multiplied, so now we have g of x times h of x times v of x, then the product rule states that the answer is g prime times h times v plus g times h prime times v plus g times h times v prime. Alright, so even if you have more than 2 terms, it's just a little more writing, but you pretty much have one term for each function. So in each term, one of them is prime, the other two are not. And so in this case, g prime represents g prime of x, like of this one. I just got a little lazy writing all the x's, but I think you get the point. So next question, we have f of x is equal to x squared plus 1 times x cubed. Now it looks similar to the previous one, but now we have the plus 1. So now f prime of x. So we said it's g prime times h of x plus h prime times g of x. So this is our g function, this is our h function. Okay, so we take g prime. So the prime of x squared plus 1 is just 2x, because there's no x next to the 1, so it's 0. The derivative of 1 is 0. Alright, so it's 2x times x cubed for the first term, and then plus 3x squared times x squared plus 1. All right. Now we do the simplification. So 2x to the 4 plus 3x to the 4 plus 3x squared. All right, so now it simplifies to 5x squared plus, sorry, whoa, 5x to the 4, my bad, plus 3x squared. All right, boom. Question 2 done. That wasn't so bad. As long as you know how to break it up into the g function and the h function, and you can recognize that you need to use product rule, and you can recognize this in an equation, it's smooth sailing. So now for question 3, f of x is equal to x squared plus 2 times x squared plus 3. All right, so you have your g function and you have your h function. So now what we want to do is get g prime. So g, we'll do it on the side here. G prime is equal to 2x, and h prime is equal to 2x as well. All right, so now it's just a matter of actually putting it into the equation. So we have g prime, so 2x times h, so x squared plus 3 plus h prime, so 2x again, times g, so x squared plus 2. All right, now you simplify, becomes 2x cubed plus 6x plus 2x cubed again plus 4x. So now you group your like terms. We have the cubed ones and the just to the power of just the normal ones. So 2 plus 2 is 4x cubed, and then 6 plus 4 is 10x. So 4x cubed plus 10x is our final answer. All right, another question. Oh, this one's a little trickier. We have f of x equal to x cubed times root x. All right, now you have your g, you have your h. I think you guys can solve this by yourself, so maybe take a second to do it. It always helps when you try to do it before, and then you can just check your answer. So you take g prime, which is 3x squared, times just h, so root x, plus h prime, so that would be 1 over 2x to the negative 1 over 2. That's the derivative of root x. And then multiply that by g, so x cubed. Now you can rewrite this as 3x squared times x to the 1 over 2, just so it's easier to understand what's going on. Plus 1 over 2. Oh, that's a terrible 2. 1 over 2. And then times x cubed. All right, so now this simplifies into 3x to the 5 over 2, because when you do this, this becomes pretty much 4 over 2 if you want the same. Here, I'll just do it over here. So you have x squared and you have x to the 1 over 2. All right, so 2 is pretty much, in terms of over 2, is equal to 4 over 2. So 4 over 2 plus 1 over 2 is equal to 5 over 2. All right, so that's how we got the 5 over 2 here. And then we have plus 1 over 2 x to the 5 over 2. So negative 1 over 2. These are the exponents of both terms. So negative 1 over 2 plus 3, because when you multiply two things together, the exponents are added. So plus 3 is equal to negative 1 over 2 plus 6 over 2, which is equal to 5 over 2 as well. All right, so now we can go back over here, and we can just simplify this because they're both 5 over 2. So you can write it as 7 over 2. That's a terrible 7. 7 over 2 x to the 5 over 2. And that's the final answer. So there are a lot of times where you have to like multiply with different exponents. They won't always be the same. So you'll get like 5 over 2 in your as your exponent. So just be prepared to do that. F of x is equal to x squared plus 1 times 1 over x. All right, so 1 over x you can rewrite as x to the minus 1. All right, so this is not that scary, 1 over x. Okay, so you take the prime of your first term, so we have g and h. So we take g prime, so 2x again, times h, so times x to the minus 1. All right, and then plus h prime, so it would actually be minus, because negative 1 would be minus x to the negative 2 times g of x, which is x squared plus 1. All right, so now that we have that, so 1 minus 1 is 0. So we just have 2. So the x's cancel each other out here. So we have 2, and then minus, oh, what's that? The x's cancel out again. So 2 minus 1, because there's a 1 right here. 2 minus 1 minus x to the negative 2. All right, now that can just be written as 1 minus 1 over x squared. All right, because remember, when you have a negative exponent, you can just throw it in the denominator and put a 1 on top. I now have a bonus problem if you found those ones too easy. F of x is equal to x to the 7 over 2 minus 4x to the negative 3 plus 1 times 3x to the 4 plus 1 over 2 x to the 1 over 2 minus x to the minus 2. All right. So in these cases, it's probably easier to work out step by step what to do instead of just plugging everything in. But you still could if you understand it very well. But for the sake of the video, I will explain it and do it like step by step, break it down. So here we have the g, and here we have h. All right, so g prime will be, now this is just difference rule and sum rule. So g prime will be 7 over 2 x to the 5 over 2. And then plus 12x to the negative 4. And then the 1 doesn't even count. So that's g prime. Now h prime we have equaling to 3x to the 4. So that's 12x to the 3. All right, I'll keep it fully on screen. And then here we have 1 over 2 times 1 over 2. So it becomes 1 over 4. 1 over 4 x to the negative 1 over 2. And then plus 2x to the negative 3. All right, so now we have all of our terms, and we just have to plug it in to the equation of the product rule. So f prime of x is equal to g prime. So here, can I select this and move it? I can move it. Interesting. Equal to g prime, so 7 over 2 x to the 5 over 2 plus 12x to the minus 4 times h. So we just write it as 3x to the 4 plus 1 over 2x to the 1 over 2 minus x to the negative 2. Now plus, so that was our g prime times h of x. Now we need to do plus h prime times g of x. So plus 12x cubed plus 1 over 4x to the negative 1 over 2 plus 2x to the negative 3. Now that goes off screen, so I'm gonna have to move over here. So times, so we did h prime, now we need to do g. So here, times x to the 7 over 2 minus 4x to the negative 3 plus 1. All right, so now we have a pretty chunky, long, scary looking equation. That is your answer for the derivative of f of x. If your teacher wants you to simplify this, it is tedious, but it's pretty straightforward. You do this times this, then same thing times this, then times this, and then this one times this, times this, times this, and you keep going. But yeah, that's the product rule. The next video will be on the quotient rule, and good luck